Good morning. How y'all doing? Got some music playing in the background. I'm sorry we're starting a little late this morning. I was listening to Aretha Franklin out in the car, and I didn't even know it was time to get in here and do my show. So we're a little bit late. That's my fault. Y'all be all right, though. Also, a little bit of a change. We no longer have a sponsor. So I get to wear I got Bigfoot. I got Bigfoot riding the Loch Ness Monster. So I got to wear my ridiculous shirt today because I didn't want anybody to get mad about me wearing it. So no sponsor. So if anybody's looking to spend a couple $1 million, you can throw it my way and I'll say your company name during our show if you want to do that. Regardless, we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about. I don't know if any of you have been living under a rock or not, but March Madness, of course, is happening. Tennessee plays again tonight against Florida Atlantic University. I think that game's like 8:00 or something. I don't know. But we're going to talk a little bit of Tennessee's first few games. We're also going to talk Titans free agency later. And then I've got something in the middle. World Baseball Classic. I watched that last night. That was really fun. We're going to get to that too. But we're going to start out with Tennessee basketball. And my glasses are sideways. Let me see if I can. My head is sideways, so I can't keep my glasses straight on my head. But first of all, like I said, thanks for hanging out with me today. We're going to talk basketball first, though. We got to talk Vols basketball. As much as it may surprise an outside fan or somebody that doesn't really know Tennessee, anybody that is a Tennessee fan or has watched them play this year, after kind of, lackadaisically just holding off Louisiana in the first round, dominated Duke. Now, I think it was Doug Gottlieb, and if it wasn't, I hope I didn't get that. I hope that doesn't hurt anybody's feelings. But there was somebody that works for one of those massive news media, the sports media companies. I think it's ESPN. Gottlieb, I think, was one. Somebody else didn't like the physical nature of the game. I think Pat Ford or 40, I don't even know how to say his name. For some reason, Yahoo still pays that guy. He called Uros Plavich a hack, which is hilarious because, I could just only imagine how warmly I would be received by the local community if I called one of the kids I cover a hack, but that's beside the point. I do think there is like a certain line of respect and a certain line of, I think there's a word here, and I'm not thinking of it. Professionalism. That's the correct word. There's a certain line of professionalism that was really teetered on the other day by a few different sports writers, sports journalists, reporters, whatever you want to call them. I like to call them idiots, but they get mad when you say that. But to call a college student a hack is, I think it's kind of funny. Now, of course, as a fan, I've sit there and I've watched games and I've been like, that dude's an idiot, or I may have used other words, but to publicly use your social media, which has multiple thousands of followers, to call a foreign kid that's just trying to play basketball, to call him a hack like that, I just felt like that was a little unprofessional. I can't remember if that was Ford or Gottlieb or who knows. But again, it's just those guys just running their trap. Same thing I'm doing right now. But Tennessee, let me get back to my original point. If you've watched Tennessee, it kind of makes sense to watch them just struggle against Louisiana and then just dominate Duke. Now, again, you could talk about Australian rules football and how physical the game was, whatever. Duke got outmanned. Duke plays sissy basketball in the ACC, and you can get all as mad as you want. In the SEC, everything's more physical, every sport. They can play shuffleboard, and they're going to figure out a way to hit each other harder. That's the way the SEC works. Basketball's no different. It is more physical. I'm not necessarily saying it's better or the correct way to play basketball. I'm not even going to argue that point. I'm just telling you that's the truth of the statement, is the fact that SEC is just more physical in just about every sport. Basketball's no different. So, Duke, they had gotten used to playing some of the ACC teams, which I guess are just a little bit softer. Oh, well, they got handled. They got manhandled. And give Duke a little bit of credit. I thought they fought really hard for 35 minutes of that game. But the last 4 minutes, I mean, you could tell those guys, they were like the villain, in the boxing movies towards the end of the, they come out strong and they're hanging tough. And then, towards the end, they're getting weak. And that's exactly what happened. Tennessee just dominated that game, ran away at the end. Olivier Kamwa was as good as I've ever seen him. The Vols, man, they were fun to watch. And here's the thing. They play again tonight against Florida Atlantic. They play down to their competition. There's a chance Florida Atlantic's going to have the ball with, 30 seconds to go and a chance to win this thing. It could happen. Now, Tennessee, these games aren't paid. I'm about mad at myself now. I can't even say words. And plus, I got an email, so I had to look down. Lost my train of thought. But we're back on the tracks. But if Tennessee played, or if games were just played on paper, and you didn't actually have the kids go out there and do it, all the best teams would just always win every game. And that's just not how it works. That's why it's so much fun to watch, because teams like Farley Dickinson can beat Purdue, and teams like Florida Atlantic can absolutely beat Tennessee. Louisiana was, 3 minutes away from coming back on Tennessee completely. So the Vols did not win the national championship with their round of 32 win over Duke. However, they do have a chance to reach their second Elite Eight ever in program history with a win tonight over Florida Atlantic. And that, as a Tennessee Vol fan, would be fun to watch. I will bring this up. The Australian rules football. I got to give both the Florida Atlantic coach and Tennessee coach Rick Barnes a lot of credit here. You've got two guys with a sense of humor that are taking this whole thing in stride. The Florida Atlantic coach, when asked about playing Tennessee, he was going to look up, Australian rules football. It's been a long week and it's only Thursday. He said he was going to look up Australian rules football, which I thought was a funny joke. I know a lot of Tennessee fans got their feelings hurt about it. Listen, you've got another coach of another program telling you that your team plays hard, regardless of. That doesn't bother me. I didn't get mad about that statement. I thought it was hilarious. And then Rick Barnes, of course, come back and right in stride. He said something along the lines of, I went and watched the game and I'd pay money to see it again, and talking about Australian rules football. Yeah, I just wanted to bring that up because I thought, I thought it was two coaches with a sense of humor. And Rick Barnes, if y'all don't know him, he is hilarious. He is a really funny guy. He's a prankster. I know he seems really serious, and he he looks kind of like he's an older guy, and he kind of reminds you of a deacon from a church. Deacon Barnes is what they call him, but he is funny. He's got a sense of humor, and I thought the whole thing was funny. And if you're a Tennessee fan, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I would advise you that it's really not that big of a deal. You can just kind of laugh it off, and I thought it was funny. So, hopefully we get to see a basketball game tonight, not an Australian rules football game. But regardless, there will be a game played tonight, and the winner will reach the Elite Eight. So let's see what happens. Now, usually we're going to go to our second take. And now usually what we do is we have a commercial after the first take and after the third take. But with no sponsor, I've asked my producer, Justin Kulik, who is on the other side of the screen here. He takes care of everything behind. I'm doing all the easy stuff. He does the hard work. And so Justin, with the lack of a sponsor, he said, do we even need a commercial? And I said, man, give me one in the middle. Give me one in the middle. I need a break. I might get up and walk around. I got bad knees. Y'all know I need a minute to myself anyway. But we're going to go to the second take real quick. We're going to talk World Baseball Championship, and then we're going to have us a little break. I don't even know what the commercial is going to be, but y'all are going to like it. Whether you like it or not, you're going to like it. So get over it. Second take, World Baseball Classic Championship. Now that was, I want to say it was Tuesday night, and I had left. I went out to Kingston Springs. Harpeth and Sycamore had a soccer game, and that was actually really fun to watch. It was wet. It was raining, mud everywhere. But, you got these two teams with kids that they know each other. They've grown up around each other. But that was a pretty fun soccer game to watch. Sycamore's pretty good. Harpeth is too. They went to state last year, so you've got two good teams that know how to play good soccer. A pretty good crowd out in Kingston Springs. But regardless, after the game, got back into Dixon. My good buddy Deontay, who works up at Applebee's, he's a bartender over there. I went over there and I got me a Sprite. I wasn't drinking. All right, I promise, no alcohol at the bar for me anyway. But I went up to Applebee's and I got me a Sprite and I watched the last two innings of the World Baseball Classic Championship because that is the only two innings I could see. Regardless, what I got to see was somebody, Schwarber. Schwarber hit like 4 or 5 tanks off of Yu Darvish in the 8th inning. 4 of them were foul. And then he finally caught one and hit it straight enough. It went about 430 foot in the right field seats, made it a 3-2 ball game. And then, the next inning, the one thing that everybody had asked for the entire time, I don't even know how to explain it, but as a group, as a baseball fan and other baseball fans, I know we all really, really wanted one thing, and that was Ohtani versus Trout in a moment that mattered. And I'm getting chills thinking about it. I know some of y'all may not care about baseball. Some of you may not understand or care how good Ohtani or Trout are. I'm going to tell you right now, Ohtani versus Trout was one of the greatest single at-bats I've ever seen in a baseball game. I don't know if Trout ever made contact. And in 6,217 career plate appearances, Mike Trout has only had 3 swing and misses in 24 of those at-bats. And Shohei Ohtani did that to him Tuesday night. And I'm just getting chills thinking about it because when I'm old, if I ever have kids, grandkids, whatever, when I'm old and I'm sitting there and telling them about my favorite baseball players that I ever watched up, I'm going to tell them I loved watching Ronald Acuna. There's Chipper Jones right there. That was my guy growing up. A lot of other people around here love Chipper. I get it. Chipper Jones is right there. Andres Galarraga. I've got names for days, but I promise you, I will tell them about the at-bat that I saw between Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout. That I was glued to a television. There was me. There was 2 guys I'd never met before. There was another guy 3 seats down from me at the bar. He was wearing a Harpeth hat. I almost asked him about the soccer game, but I was so glued in on this television, the baseball game on the television. But we were all sitting there, and I don't even know if they're as big of baseball fans as I was, but we were glued. It was legitimately. I was watching this harder than when whoever it was rolled over that ground out to Dansby Swanson for the Braves World Series. In Game 6 against Houston. This was the biggest at bat I had seen in years, and it wasn't Major League. It wasn't a World Series at bat. It was World Baseball Classic, and I think a lot of these guys told you throughout. Trey Turner even said the home run he had hit, the grand slam before in the game before, he said that was the biggest hit he's ever had. Shohei Ohtani, I don't know if y'all saw the pregame speech, but he's not very animated. He's not like me. In fact, he's the exact opposite. Talented, animated, and works hard. He's the exact opposite of me. But he got up in front of the his Japanese teammates, and he told them, we have to stop admiring them because we can beat them. And his pregame speech was dope, but he's really reserved. But the World Baseball Classic, it may not mean as much to you as Major League Baseball, but to these players, playing for their country across their chest was a huge deal. And you could see it in the emotion. You could see it in their play. It was a lot of fun to watch. And I only got to see the last 2 innings, like I said, the other night. But it was some of the best 2 innings of baseball I'd seen in a long time. So it's got me excited for the next one. I hope Shohei's still around. I hope Trout's still around. I want to see him. I want to see him face off again. Ohtani threw 100 past him, 100 past him, and then he threw that wicked sideways slider thing that he's got. It's not even a slider. I think it's more of like a, I don't know. It's like a slurve type deal, but Trout never hit it. Struck him out. Of course, Mookie, Jeff McNeil hit something. He got on first base, and then Mookie's trying to move him over and roll over to second base. Got a double play. So 3-2. Mike Trout comes up top of the ninth. 3-2. Mike Trout versus Shohei. It's what I wanted. It's what everybody wanted, and it was fun to watch. But I'm going to let you boys and girls watch some kind of commercial. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like a movie trailer. That's what we should have done. We should have got a movie trailer. I don't know. Anyway, y'all go ahead. Y'all watch this commercial. We'll come back in just a minute. We'll talk some more stuff. All right. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Miller from Mornings on Main Street. Join us March 23rd at Bridgestone Arena with the Nashville Predators for Main Street Media Night. I know Devin O'Day will be here.
You know I will be, Stephanie. Plus, you can register for a Predators prize pack. They were going to call it the Hockey Hootenanny, but they changed. So it's going to have 4 tickets and food vouchers. You got to register to win.
We're looking forward to seeing all of our Main Street Sports Today fans, right, Chris?
Absolutely, we are. And we could not do this without, of course, our owner, Dave Gould, and our friends here at Smashville.
Speaking of,
Where is Dave?
we will see you March 23rd for Main Street Media Night.
Let's go, Prince!
Do I have the wrong night?
That's actually funny. I'd never seen that commercial before. Dave Gould, of course, that's the owner of Main Street Media. I don't know if any of you have got to meet him or see him before, but that was him sitting by himself asking if he was there for the wrong night. I like Dave. I think he's a cool guy. He's been a great boss to me for the few years I've been here. So he's been a great boss. He's really supported me. I've been through some stuff. All of us, we all go through a lot of stuff, and he's been right there with me. A lot of my other coworkers, they've been right here with me. So big shout out to those guys. So that was funny. I love that. That's a good commercial. I'm not a big hockey guy, but hey, listen, y'all start getting some hockey down here at Dixon or Creekwood or Cheatham, Harpeth or Sycamore, man. We might get something going around here. I don't know. Maybe I get into some hockey, but let's go ahead and get into the third take, which is going to be Titans free agency. Now, I'm going to go ahead and warn some of you. I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to act like I know everything that they've done. And I know I talked about Arden Key last week. Here's what I wanted to bring up. If you're a Titans fan, and again, I don't want to talk about the names that they've got or the names that they're bringing in or who they might bring in. That's not what this is about. I just want to explain to a lot of you Titans fans. Here's the deal. I know some of y'all wanted them to go try and get Derek Carr or go try and sign some of these really big name free agents. When has that worked? When has getting the big free agent, when has that worked? Clowney was a clown while he was here, left, and was even more of a clown, made jokes about the way we did things. Went to Cleveland and talked bad about Tennessee. How bad could that be? Bud Dupree's a great football player. He couldn't stay on the field. I like Bud Dupree. I think anybody else that's a Titans fan is too. This is not going to take me a long time. I'm just going to tell you. I don't know if Ran Carthon is good. I don't know if he's going to be a great GM. That first thing that he said when he was talking about playing great defense and running the ball in January, that's what teams do. That kind of bothered me because great teams don't have to run the ball and play defense anymore. The Chiefs were like 20th in defensive efficiency and ran the ball like, let's see, they ran the ball less than like 25, 27 teams. So it's like, stop telling me that we have to play in 1975. It's a different game. You can't throw the ball around and have a spotty defense and still win a Super Bowl. It's possible. So that kind of bothered me. But other than that, here's what I'm going to say. I don't know if I consider myself an optimist, but I am going to give the new GM some time. I'm going to give him some time. Hopefully his ideas work. Hopefully the guys he bring in stay healthy. God forbid. I'd love to see the Titans stay healthy. That they lead the team in injuries every year. Maybe we need to fire the strength and conditioning staff instead of the GM next time. That's a different conversation for a different day. We're already at 22 minutes, and I haven't said anything other than Arden Key about free agency. The only thing I wanted to tell any of you boys and girls is here's the deal. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but I will ask you. I'm gonna ask you, have a little bit of faith. Because, I mean, the only alternative is just thinking that they're going to suck regardless. I'd like to live in a world where hopefully they've got a chance to be good. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith. He's Ran Carthen, not Jesus. So I don't have a lot of faith. But we'll see what happens. That's all I wanted to bring up. Maybe these guys that he's bringing in, maybe they're not going to be frontline starters. Maybe they're not. Arden Key is probably not going to get 18 sacks next year. But if he plays in 17 football games and he gets like 8 sacks, that's better than what Bud Dupree did for a lot cheaper. So that was my whole thing. That's all I wanted to say. Just for your own health and well-being, just hopefully, just try to hope. Maybe this works. Nothing else does. Still don't have a Super Bowl. Almost said World Series. I don't know why. But still don't have a Super Bowl. So gotta change up something. And maybe this new guy's got it. That's all I wanted to say. We're going to go on to the fourth take, which is high school sports. Baseball and softball started up. I went to, what did I have? Monday, Cheatham hosted Sycamore. I love going out to Cheatham for baseball games. I really like their field. They've got that the older fence. I like their field. They got good cheeseburgers out there. It's nice to run into everybody. It's nice to run into everybody out there. Sycamore athletic director Taylor McCullough was out there too Monday night, and he asked me. He said, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "Well, Bill's going to come. Bill Clark, our photographer in Cheatham, he's going to come out and shoot the Harpeth Sycamore game. So." Soccer game. So I'm going to be there. And he's like, great. So, I was able to go out there for a few days. Tonight I'm going to watch Tennessee. Tomorrow I need to find me a Dixon game to go watch. So, but I think Dixon played like 6 baseball games last week. A little bit of a slow start, but they started to win towards the end. Of course, it's early in baseball season. I think everybody's just trying to get their feet wet. Same thing with Creekwood. They lost to Sycamore last week, first game of the year for them. I have not had an opportunity to watch any softball yet for either Dixon or Cheatham, but looking forward to that. Track and field has gotten going, and then soccer. Soccer's big. Let's see, Dixon's down at the Smoky Mountain Cup this weekend, or maybe that was last weekend. It's hard to keep up with everything, but listen, it's all full blast right now. Soccer, baseball, softball. I think a few of the baseball and softball teams are playing some tournaments this week, especially with it being it's spring break. One place this week and spring break, another place next week. Something, I don't know. It's hard to keep up. I can't keep up with all these schedules. But regardless, we'll have you some scores and stuff like that next week. We talk about the high school stuff. I don't have many scores right now. I've been trying to just get caught up. Right before I got on the show here, I sent out a text to all the basketball coaches asking them for their all-county nominees. So we'll have that coming up. We've also got a really special story about a young man from Pleasant View Christian, a 5th grader. We've got a really special story from one of the coaches out there decided to write up something for us. So we're going to have that next week. And then I got to get in contact with the Hawks Den out in Charlotte. They've got a great operation going on out there, so I got to get in contact with those guys and see if I can get something written up for them. So y'all, thanks for hanging out with me today. Maybe next week 96.3 won't play Aretha Franklin before I come in the door, and I'll be able to get here on time. So it's fun to hang out with y'all. We'll see you next week. Hey, go Vols.